Welcome to episode 30 of our series on the surnames of Appalachia and the American South. As we've mentioned every week during this series, there are thousands of surnames in these regions. To make our task more manageable though, we're focusing on pre-Civil War surnames. That's because the Industrial Revolution that ushered in the last half of the 19th century scattered thousands more names across the fruited plains. Some of them no doubt made their way into major cities in the South and certain coal mining areas in central Appalachia. Each of the family names we'll examine today was requested by members of our YouTube community. You might note that I discuss surnames in the order that I received them, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve as a resource for you. I also appreciate your patience as I make my way through the names still on our list. By request, I'm posting an email address to the Vanntage Point in the description so you can request a surname catalog. It contains all the surnames that we've covered up through this week. So, today on the Vanntage Point, we'll be exploring the surnaming landscapes of England, France, and Germany. In doing so, we'll cover the origins and meanings of 9 common and not so common Appalachian and Southern surnames. I hope you'll join me. Let's get started. Number 1, Woodland. Well, this surname is about as straightforward as any that I've researched. This Old English surname was given to someone who lived in the woods or near a woodland. In that regard, it's a toponymic or habitational name. I could easily imagine the ancient woodland folk being self-reliant and listening to what would have passed for their version of some Hank Williams Jr. music back in those days. Country boy can't survive and all that, you know. Here in the South, one is more likely to find that hill and ridge tops are forested, but in England today, ridge and hilltops are more often used as grazing lands. Forests are typically found in bottomland areas over there. In looking outside of England and Wales, we find that woodland doesn't appear among the more common names in Scotland, Ireland, and Wales. So I think we can consider woodland an English surname. Number 2, Flat or Flett. When I received this request, my mind went straight back to my childhood. Some of you will no doubt remember a TV show called The Beverly Hillbillies. In it, a singer named Lester Flatt, who was born in Duncan's Chapel in Overton County, Tennessee, greeted us each week. He pleaded for us to come and listen to a story about a man named Jed, who was so poor that he could barely keep his family fed. At any rate, Flat isn't a widely distributed surname, so it could well have been requested by one of Lester's kinfolk. The surname Flat appears to have been derived from the name Flett. It has at least 2 points of origin and meaning. We find Old English and Viking Age Orkney sources that describe the 2 origins. The Old English version claims that it was a weak form of fleet. It probably referred to a place of strife or a hall, of all things. In northern Scotland's Orkney Islands, it was a toponymic. Flat isn't found among the more common names of Wales or Ireland, so I think we can call Flat an English or Scottish surname, depending on the point of origin of your line of Flat. Number 3, Gentry. From Lester Flatt to Bobby Gentry, this surname has a musical sound to it here in the South. Bobby Gentry had the looks of a model and a great set of pipes to sing her songs. Bobby was born as Roberta Ann Streeter in Chickasaw County, Mississippi. She took her stage name from a 1952 film titled Ruby Gentry. The movie was about a poor girl growing up in fictitious Braddock, North Carolina. The movie obviously spoke to Roberta's southern roots, so she adopted Bobby Gentry as her stage name. The world came to know her through her songs, including her massive hit Ode to Billy Joe that tells the story of a girl jumping to her death from a bridge over the Tallahatchie River down in Mississippi. Folks, now I drove to work every day for 5 years across the Tallahatchie River in the Mississippi Delta. The bridges over there and over that river are not that high, and the river's not that deep or rapid, but it's full of cottonmouths and gators though. What a painful death. At any rate, the surname Gentry is an old Anglo-Norman name. It was given to one who was a noble birth, courteous, and gentle. It's not found among the more common surnames in Ireland, Scotland, or Wales. I think we are compelled to call Gentry an English surname. Number 4, Ison. If you spent much time in the Knoxville area back in the 1970s, that's East Tennessee of course, you would have no doubt heard of a local weather lady named Margie Ison. I was a teenager back then. Her love of knowledge of things atmospheric helped to inspire me to study weather and climate. But I also must give a shout out to my mentor who galvanized my excitement for the broader field of geography. His name was Dr. Frank L. Peacharton. Teachers make a difference, folks. Those are topics about which I've written several books. Thanks, Margie and Pete. The English surname Ison originated as a Teutonic name, but other sources claim it was a Welsh personal name or a Northamptonshire toponymic for a place called Isham. It doesn't appear among the more common surnames outside of England, so I think we should consider Ison an English surname. Hamrick. You might be happy to know that I can't think of a musical or academic connection to the surname Hamrick. This German surname is derived from Hamburg, Germany. It's not found among the more common surnames in Great Britain or Ireland, so it's best that we consider Hamrick a German toponymic straight from the old country. Number 5, Snell. We've arrived at episode 30, and for the first time in our surname series, we've landed on 2 German surnames back to back. Well, Snell can also be of English origin, but even then it has Germanic roots. It comes from the word schnell, which is quick. It can mean merry, adroit, or even quick, as I just said. If you've ever watched Hogan's Heroes or the movie The Great Escape, you will have heard German soldiers yelling schnell to prisoners if they wanted to move quicker. The surname Snell has a presence in Scotland and has been on the records there since the 14th century. However, it's not found among the more common names in Wales or Ireland. At the end of the day, I think a paper trail would show whether your surname is of Scottish, English, or German origin. Number 6, Janes. The English surname Janes refers to the son of Jane. We're also following another pattern today. Janes is an English surname. It's not found among the common surnames in Ireland, Wales, or Scotland. Number 7, Jude. This Anglo-Hebrew surname is a form of Judah. Jude continues our day of mostly English surnames. Number 9, Puckett. The ET on the end of Puckett hints at its French origin. Its French form is Puckett. It identifies the son of Puck. At least one online source claims that it's a French Huguenot surname. I tend to agree with that assessment because surnames introduced by the 11th century Normans tended to spread around more than the recently arriving Huguenot surnames of the 17th century. In looking through the countries of the Isles, we don't find Puckett among the more common surnames outside of England. I think that we here in the South should consider Puckett an Americanized form of a French surname. Well, friends, that's all I have for you today. I hope you got something meaningful out of our discussion. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It's going to help us a whole lot. I invite you to check out all the videos on the Vanntage Point, in addition to Surnames of Appalachia and the 29 other videos in that series. They cover a wide range of topics, including the history of climate change and natural disasters like earthquakes, volcanoes, hurricanes. If demand warrants it, I'll be back soon with another episode on the Surnames of Appalachia and the American South. I hope to see you then. God bless you and yours. Bye-bye.